Hi friends, if my face, outfit, and background look familiar to you, I literally just finished filming my TBR jar video for November, and I had to jump straight into this intro. Over the next few days, I am going to be reading books that I own that have less than 1,000 reviews on Goodreads. And originally I was going to choose more books than this, and bigger books. I was supposed to have a whole week to film this, but Halloween weekend was kind of crazy for me. I threw a party, I hosted people who were sleeping at my house, I went to a concert, I went out to bars, I went out to a movie. There was so much happening Halloween weekend that I took like a 4-day break from reading anything at all, which is totally fine. I watched a whole lot of movies instead, so that's fine. So now instead of more books or longer books, I'm gonna be reading 3 books, and I only have 3 days to do it in. So 1 book per day. I will be reading Landlocked in Foreign Skin by Drew Huff, Cathedral of the Drowned by Nathan Ballingrud, and Fate's Bane by C.L. Clark. I am cheating a little bit with Cathedral of the Drowned because this just came out, I think, last week, so it hasn't had time to gain Goodreads ratings reviews yet, but I really wanted to read it, so I'm cheating. I don't care. It's not cheating. Right now there's under 1,000 reviews. So it's not cheating. So overall, I believe this is less than 700 pages. So the plan is to read a book a day for the next 3 days. I actually started. I'm a few pages into Landlocked in Foreign Skin. So this will be finished today. Cathedral of the Drowned, I will read tomorrow. Fate's Bane will be read on Wednesday. Was this an adequate intro? Did I do this properly? Did I forget to say anything? I don't know. So that's it. This is gonna be a really easy, small vlog to get through. So I hope that we both have fun. Also, I need to get through these as quickly as possible. The reason that it's only pushed down into 3 days now is because as soon as I finish all 3 of these, I get to start another Read It or Unhaul It video. And that's what I really care about. That's what I want to get to. I want to get back to my raffle drum, which is why my time is shortened. These are novellas. Let's f***ing go.
Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear my voice? Anybody out there? Anybody hears me? Please respond.
Oh, you're so warm right now. Okay, so I'm basically exactly halfway through Landlocked in Foreign Skin right now. And spoiler alert, it started out really strong, but I can feel my mental ratings starting to drop as we go into the second half of the book. This is both a gift from Jason and the October buddy read for Allie from All I Do Is Read's Patreon book club, which I'm obviously late on, considering we're in November now, so Allie, I'm so sorry, I apologize. From the back of the book, we get the idea that humans have come and colonized Europa, which is one of Jupiter's moons. And there is an evil young heiress who has captured something called a fisherman, which I had assumed was kind of like a mermaid figure, but it turns out it's this race of sea-dwelling creatures who can shapeshift at will to adapt to their environment and different seasons and their needs, etc. Because a lot of what they eat is radiation from the atmosphere and other planets that are around them. Now, I love the idea of an evil young heiress because I aspire to be evil and rich, but this evil heiress has some issues going on. Her name is Isabel. She has captured this fisherman because she thinks that they can help her talk to the sea god Ader, because she wants to fix her girlfriend Lior, who got lobotomized after they were caught together. Because even in the future on Jupiter's fucking moon, the gays cannot catch a break. Hello. Being gay is illegal in their universe. They execute gay men and they lobotomize gay women. I don't know why there's the distinction between the two. I assume at some point we'll learn, but I don't know right now. So Isabel captures the fishermen and removes their slimy outer skin, the one that allows them to shapeshift. And so the fisherman is stuck in the last form that they took on, which happens to be this like warped mirror version of Isabel. The fisherman is not stoked to be captured, obviously. They keep saying, give me back my skin, let me go home. And Isabel wants to talk that out during dinner, during which she's like, you are not allowed to go home until you help me talk to your sea god so that I can save my girlfriend. To which the fisherman is like, hey, go fuck yourself, I'm gonna kill you and everyone on board. And then their immediate next thought is, hey Isabel, you got some nice lips there, I wonder how they taste. And then they're like finger blasting each other in the dining room. Those aren't spoilers, that's all in the first like 5 pages. That is what we open the book immediately into. Ego, don't scratch the walls, please. So far we have a few really obvious themes in the book. Isabel and the fisherman wind up in this abusive sort of relationship, and there are big clear examples of what it's like to exist in an abusive relationship and the ways in which someone can threaten you or manipulate you into staying in a situation even if you know that you shouldn't be in that situation. But there's also a big nod to that line, hurt people hurt people. Isabel is made to have more layers than just being this evil, abusive person. I'm gonna be very clear, Isabel is an evil, abusive person, but she's also been living this hellish existence. She is gay in a world where it's illegal to be gay. Her family had the person that she loves lobotomized in front of her as a form of punishment. They keep trying to put her through conversion therapy. They've said that they would prefer if she just died instead of causing all these scandals in their rich people society. So it's a complex situation where you're presented with this person that you hate for kidnapping and hurting someone, but you also feel empathy because of the situations. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, bless you. But you also feel empathy because of the experiences that created this person out of her. Obviously, there are trigger warnings all over the book. Abusive relationships, homophobia, self-harm, and ideation about taking your own life. Classic blood and gore shit, because this is a horror book. Body horror, violence, conversion therapy, brain damage, profane language, and explicit sexual content. Those are all the ones listed in the front of the book. So far, I liked it a lot more in the beginning than I do now in the middle of the book, but I'm still having a good time. I do not like the fact that we've started talking about Isabel being an influencer in this future on this foreign planet. We see her doing product shoots and all this shit, and I'm not saying that I don't get it. I understand it. I understand why it fits with the themes, and I know why it's in here, but I really don't like that being an aspect in any book that I read. So now I'm gonna go finish it out. I've got like 70 pages left, 80 pages left, so I'm gonna go finish. Hopefully I like the second half more than the place that we dipped down to in the middle few pages. Okay, bye. Okay, that was a really fast second half and so much happened. Egg, stop it. Egg. Meow. Okay, really fast second half and so much happened. Some might say too much happened, and it's me. I would say that too much happened. We wound up getting a POV from Isabel at the end of the book, and it kind of was just this big exposition dump, and it helped tie up her story and understand plot points and a few twists and all that, but it was really just a big exposition dump. I never say this because I love novellas, but I really think that this book could have been helped by an extra like 100 pages, because so much was shoved in here, like so fucking much. This book was about simultaneously abusive relationships, society versus the gay community, women and aging in society, classism, etc. And I think that you can fit all of that in one book, but I think that you need more breathing room to do it. Also, it definitely could have used another few rounds of editing. There were like a dozen spelling and grammar mistakes throughout the book, and the second half especially felt a little scattered, a little all over the place and choppy. Also, an extra 100 pages could have helped us get more world building. All we're given in terms of physical surroundings is a ship on the ocean and then a whole bunch of ice, which is fine. But in a world this interesting, I want to know more. I want to see more. We're on a moon. We're on one of Jupiter's moons. I want to know more about the physical environment. So I'm gonna land somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5. I think that Drew Huff is a really good writer. I just wish it had had the time and space to be fleshed out more. And then tomorrow I'm gonna start and finish Cathedral of the Drowned. And I'm not gonna do a mid-book update because that one is a sequel, which I'm just now realizing maybe wasn't the best choice to include in this vlog, but whatever, I'm reading it. I'll see you when I've finished another entire book. Okay, so I was right. I definitely should not have chosen a sequel for this video, but C'est la vie, I guess. This was my excuse to read this as soon as it was released. Also, I had to pause reading to get through some other work and personal life stuff. So it's actually been like 3 or 4 days. 4 days. Doing great. So I'm going to recap the first book for you to try and convince you to pick it up. This is the first book, Crypt of the Moon Spider. We are in an alternate Earth timeline where we've invented interspace travel by the 1920s. Veronica is a melancholic lady. She's a little bit of a depressive, and so her husband thinks that she is broken and wants to fix her by sending her to a mental health facility on the moon via a moon shuttle where she'll have brain surgery performed by Dr. Cole. The moon used to be covered in moon spiders. Spiders the size of cars, elephants, whatever. And Dr. Cole fixes his patients' brains by scooping out the bad, sick, mentally ill, depressive parts of their brains and mushing ancient moon... Sorry, my dishwasher is being so loud right now. Anyway, he scoops out the bad parts and he mushes ancient moon spider webbing into the holes left behind, and it like weaves itself with the gray matter in your brain, and it's supposed... and it supposedly cures you of mental illness. Wouldn't that be lovely? Give me the spider lobotomy. I am test patient 0. Sign me up. Anyway, so Veronica moves to this facility on the moon. Things don't go as planned. Chaos erupts, and that's kind of all I can say about that. Cathedral of the Drowned picks up pretty much right where we left off in book 1. What is that? What? Are we cursed again? Is it a curse? Fuck. Guys, I don't know if I've ever told you this on here, but I got cursed by like probably a witch in Yosemite a few years ago. I was in Yosemite shooting someone's wedding, and I dug up this thing that was buried in the ground because I thought it was trash and I didn't know what I was looking at. And it was a mason jar that was full of water, colored water, and I emptied it out because I was gonna throw it away. And I thought I was doing a good thing. I thought I was cleaning trash from a national park. But when I emptied it out, it had a bunch of like talismans in it and stones, like precious stones and crystals, and like folded up paper. And my friend who was there with me, who's like very witchy, she told me that it was someone's spell that they buried in Yosemite and that I f***ed it up. And you know, 3.5 months later I had a stroke. And then now I have all the rest of these health problems. So I actually think that I was in fact cursed. And my boyfriend is outside shoveling our front garden, and he just held something up to the window and he goes, look, it's a talisman. And he just found something buried in the earth that's like rusted over and in the shape of a person, a human. I really can't deal with another curse. Oh. Also, I found out that something really bad happened in my house like a decade before I lived here. So I just feel kind of surrounded by bad vibes right now. This side note, if anyone watching this knows how to lift a curse that I accidentally put upon myself, please let me know. Please let us know. Help us rid ourselves of whatever the fuck I accidentally did to myself. Anyway, let's get back to the book. Where was I? This book, it starts pretty much right where we left off after the first book. I can't say a whole lot in detail, obviously, because it's a sequel, but I will say that this book is just as gross as the first book, if not grosser, in my opinion. It's not intense at all. I've read way worse body horror shit, but there may or may not be a scene where a giant spider impregnates a human man by copulating with an open wound in his stomach. Hypothetically speaking. We're following a few characters in a few different locations, most of whom were in the first book. And one of them winds up exploring a new planet, one of Jupiter's moons, which makes this the second book in this video, the second book I'm reading in a row that takes place on one of Jupiter's moons. Like, what kind of weird coincidence is that? Landlocked was on Europa. Cathedral of the Drowned takes place mostly on this moon of Jupiter called Io. And I didn't even recognize that. It didn't click at first until both books used the word Jovian, which was a brand new word for me, but basically it means anything related to the planet of Jupiter or the god Jupiter. So one of our characters winds up exploring one of Jupiter's moons, and it wound up being exactly like what I was asking for in, I think it was my last reading vlog. If you watched my first Read It or Unhaul It video, while I was reading Ghost Station, I was talking about how I wished it was the kind of space sci-fi book where they adventure on other planets and they meet alien creatures and they describe these alien animals and all of their foreignness and otherness and weirdness. I wanted animal and life form descriptions, and I got some of that in here. We get cool descriptions of these foreign planets with their jungles and their volcanic ash skies. We get odd alien creepy crawlies and some life forms that remind me of the guys who are indebted to Davy Jones and have to work the Flying Dutchman. You know the guys in Pirates of the Caribbean who become part of the crew, part of the ship? The ones who wind up growing barnacles all over their faces and then like slowly integrate into the ship itself. There's life forms in the book that remind me of those dudes. I also get my favorite thing to read about in books, which is time f***ery. I'll not elaborate on that for fear of spoilers, but I do get time and space f***ed with in this book. There are trigger warnings aplenty for this being such a short book. Blood and guts, obviously. Bugs, really big bugs and really small bugs. And a single scene of sexual assault, which is only about 1 page, and it's very skippable if that is something that you feel you need to do for yourself. Egg, don't eat my microphone, please. There's also a whole lot about the hubris of man, and there's a general theme of around and find out that lasts throughout the whole book. With this being a sequel, I thought I would get answers to questions I had from the first book. I was wrong. Instead, I just got even more questions, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. This is not the book series to go for if you require answers and logic at every turn. Sometimes shit just happens, and you have to read through and say, okay, I accept. I gave this 4 stars. I gave the first book 4.5 stars, and I have really high hopes for the third book, which comes out a whole ass year from now. And now I really am gonna get through all of my final book tomorrow so I can start fresh on Monday with a new Read It or Unhaul It video. So, I'll see you tomorrow with Fate's Bane by C.L. Clarke. So we're in this Celtic-inspired world where generations ago everyone was part of one clan, Banos the Brave, Banos the Clever, Banos's clan. But people started getting angry and greedy and full of themselves, and so they wound up splitting off into like a dozen different smaller clans. They only have peace right now because our main girl, Agnir, was given to an enemy clan as a token of peace. Not in any kind of weird way. She's raised as the enemy clan's chief's ward, starting when she's a little kid. She's treated well, she's respected, she winds up basically as an honorary clan member, except she can always feel like she's not quite accepted as one of their own. And Agnir winds up fully head over heels in love with the chief's daughter, Hadnry, which is spelled like this, so I really hope that I'm pronouncing this right. Oh, also I'm 67 pages in, and I'm stoked on this book from the jump because it is immediately clear that being gay is super normalized in this world. It's not even given a second thought. The chief's heir, his firstborn son, comes of age and is ready to get married, and he's given gifts and tokens by both male and female suitors. There are annual weddings, and half of them are fucking gay. We are in a world where not only is there no stigma at all, but it's not even considered something that is different. So the chief's issue with Agnir being in love with his daughter is not born of homophobia. It's purely based off the fact that her blood is the blood of the enemy clan. So Agnir and Hadnry wander into these scary woods that they're not supposed to go to. They find a hidden spring that's not supposed to exist. And they wind up figuring out that together they have this magic where they can inject their intentions into their arts and crafts. So, like for example, if they together make a sheath for a sword. They can infuse magic into the sheath. That means that the sword within it cannot hurt either of the girls. I am having a really great time so far. I love the language. It's very old-timey feeling. And I mean like old-timey. Like they don't have a proper word for uncle, so they call their uncle my mother brother. So now I'm going to go blast through the last 100 pages and cross my fingers for a 5-star. Okay, so we didn't get a 5-star, but we got close. The second half of the book devolves into war and not niceties, whereas the first half was mostly yearning and arts and crafts. And I know without the conflict, there wouldn't be a book, obviously, but I missed the general sense of peace, but not enough that it brought down the book like almost at all. I really cannot talk about most of what happened in the back half of the book without spoilers, but I really loved the love that Agnir and Hodnri had for each other. It's so simple. It's very much we had each other and that was enough kind of vibes. The ending was a little interesting. It employed a tactic that very much wrapped the book up as the beginnings of a legend that gets passed down through generations. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, but I reread the last few pages and it just works so well for what it's trying to do. At its heart, this is a written down version of oral storytelling, and it gets a 4.5 stars from me, I think. Hey, why don't you show them more of you? Okay. Oh, don't do it. Yeah, so I think 4.5 stars is where I'm landing. And so that, don't show them your butthole. And so that is the end of this vlog. 3 novellas, a 3, a 4, and a 4.5. Was I supposed to learn something from this? I don't remember where we started out with this vlog. Oh, right. These are all books. Okay, these are all books that were under 1,000 ratings at the time on Goodreads. I think that you should read all of them. I didn't love this one as much as other people have, but other people have loved it a lot. And I would love it more once it went through a few more rounds of editing. So don't count this one out. Cathedral of the Drowned, absolutely, but please pick up Crypt of the Moon Spider. Please. Don't read this before you read that. That's f***ing stupid. Don't do that. Get Crypt of the Moon Spider. And for sure read Fate's Bane by C.L. Clarke. I loved this one. If you want to dive into a novella where being gay is super normal and no one even f***ing talks about it because it's just so regular, Fate's Bane. And now I'm gonna wrap this up so I can start on my next read it or unhaul it video. So that's it. 3 novellas, done. Done and dusted. If you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, thank you for being here. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have an amazing November. Egg, stop it. I hope you're having an amazing day. And that's it. Love you. Bye. If I did, I'll come back and I say more thing. A whole bunch of ice. And angry and full of themselves. So Agnir and Hodnri, oh God. Go sippies. Lay down, go sippies. Good girl.